Hello there. Liz Truss, who is almost certainly just days away from becoming the new UK Prime Minister, wants to ramp up UK oil and gas production. It's being reported that Liz Truss's top advisers are talking with energy firms to increase North Sea oil and gas production so as to bolster our energy security. With the Times saying that she intends to approve new drilling licences, maybe as many as 130, as soon as she gets through the door of number 10. And both the Brexit Opportunities Minister Jacob Rees-Mogg and the Energy Secretary Kwasi Kwarteng have been meeting with energy companies in the search for extra supplies of oil and gas this winter. But the entire UK energy sector has been set on the net zero path to the outright ban of fossil fuels for years, now with a target of net zero carbon emissions by 2050, 28 years away, which in big infrastructure terms is next month if not next week. The decline to net zero is now baked hard into the whole industry, politics, regulators and the companies. And behind that massive net zero behemoth stands UK energy statute law and environmental law and all the statutory instruments that emanate from it, as well as all the mission statements, responsibilities and duties that all of the quangos involved in the energy system have to abide by. Without addressing all of that, you can imagine the lawfare games the eco-loons can play with all of that. They will be taking ministries and quangos to court all over the place if they start breaking their duties or threaten the environment. And they can protest destructively and say they are just pressing to ensure the government is following its own current laws. And juries and judges could well agree with them. Just think of the judicial reviews they can force of every decision made that goes against net zero or environmental laws. If she's serious about this, Truss needs to get an Act of Parliament in place to supersede all that green crud, or at the very least delay it all for decades, and so place anything she does on a proper legal footing. Give the eco-loons and their legal teams nowhere to go from the outset. She cannot afford to wait while the courts filter through decades of environmental law to see if she's breaking one of them. Truss would also need to ensure that proper sanctions were put in place to deter those eco-loons who wander around the country at will, digging tunnels under the roads, blocking traffic and turning up at forecourts with hammer and chisel in hand to destroy the fuel pumps. Those eco-loons are intent on destroying a country that urgently needs energy, cheap energy, to rebuild itself and keep its citizens safe. And how about the big energy companies? We will be expecting them to invest billions in starting new wells, while we have laws in place to not use the oil and gas they produce as we stop gas boilers and petrol and diesel cars. How stupid is that? That needs to be addressed within the new law I suggested earlier. And then there's the issue of oil and gas workers. As our domestic production has fallen, so has the number of workers required in the offshore energy business. The numbers have declined as workers retired or moved out of the industry, with many being told to shove off and retrain to build green windmills and the like. So a sudden significant ramping up in offshore drilling activity will, one supposes, require a significant uplift in qualified and ready-to-go workers. Have we got them? And the rigs need to be brought in or even built. All far too late. And even further, I see no mention of fracking on the agenda. And to cap it all, this will require a lot of hard toil from our working from home civil servants. Think driving licences and passports, and the threatened upcoming civil service strike. After all that's gone before this, all I fear we'll see is a lot of political hot air and paperwork flying about for public consumption, but resulting in a WEF-approved continual slide in North Sea oil and gas production. I'll believe that Truss is really going for this, firstly when I see some laws being passed to get it done quickly, and when that oil and gas starts getting pumped. Otherwise it's just political flim-flam.